We begin with President Biden's visit to Florida, set for later today, to get a look at a first-hand look at the damage left behind by Hurricane Ian.
That's right. It was a week ago today that Ian made landfall in southwest Florida. And now each day that passes, hope for finding survivors fades. The number of people confirmed dead is now 105, but the search is ongoing. Rescue crews are continuing to comb through the hardest hit areas in Ian's path, like Lee County. But the sheriff of Lee County is indicating that very soon this will transition from a rescue mission into a recovery mission. People are still struggling to get basic necessities and reporting confusion over how to apply for FEMA aid. Governor DeSantis announced the state's first disaster recovery center opened yesterday in Fort Myers, with more centers set to open in coming days. President Biden is expected to meet with Governor DeSantis when he arrives in Florida today. And despite the tragedy, there will be an undercurrent of politics in this visit as the two potential presidential opponents work together to help Florida recover from Ian. For more on this, we have NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns and NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Allie, Raffa. Good to see you both. So, Dasha, let's start with you. I know you're on the ground there, and according to the Washington Post, nearly 3,000 people have been affected by the storm, and they're staying at around 22 shelters. You're actually at one of those shelters, Hertz Arena. Tell us about what you're seeing, what kind of assistance people who are displaced by the storm can actually receive there.
Yeah, Zinkley, you know, nobody ever wants to come to a place like this. Most people don't think they'll ever need to come to a place like this, but boy, is it important to have a place like this and these resources when disaster strikes. And I want to tell you more about what's going on here, and I want to bring in Lori Arnold with the Red Cross here. So, Lori, walk me through what kinds of resources you're providing here, and who's here, how many people are here, what's going on?
So to start out with, we do have about 500 people staying in this particular shelter, but we also have over 20 shelters available in the area that aren't at capacity. So there's plenty of room still for people to come in. We still expect that with more search and rescue happening, there could be even more people coming into shelters. Here in our Red Cross shelters, and we work with our community partners to bring in medical supplies for people who've lost their medications. We have 3 meals a day, safe place to sleep. And ultimately, we also want to bring people comfort and hope home and make this feel like they're home while they're displaced.
And speaking of home, I mean, a lot of people lost everything. They're trying to figure out how to get their lives back. How long do you expect to be open?
So at the moment, it's still really early. It seems like the hurricane happened last week, but it's still very early in our recovery stage. And so we are still looking to see how long people are going to need to be here. But I can say that we will not be sending anybody home before it's time. We will have these shelters open as long as necessary. But our goal is to get people back to whatever their new normal is going to look like as soon as possible.
You'll be open as long as it's needed.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Zinkley, as long as it's needed.
I mean, powerful words there. And thank you also to that Red Cross volunteer and representative for the work that you're doing on the ground. It's so good that we could hear from you. And Dasha, I did want to ask about another group, the Army Corps of Engineers, who I understand is also on the ground as part of the federal storm response under FEMA. They just launched an assistance program for people whose homes were damaged. So how exactly does that practically work?
Yeah, so you've got folks who have lost everything, who need to seek shelter at a place like this, people who are staying with relatives, right? But then there are those people that are sort of in between and trying to figure out what to do, whose homes are still somewhat livable, but their roofs are damaged, they're sort of exposed to the elements. And what the Army Corps of Engineers is doing is a program called Operation Blue Roof. They just launched this a couple of days ago. They will bring in heavy reinforced tarps that they can put over people's roofs so that they're protected, so that they can remain at home while they're looking for those more long-term solutions. So it's a temporary solution, but it helps people be able to stay in their homes, not have to use resources like this which are for people who, you know, really need it. There's a hotline that you can call. It's free of charge. It's for folks in Lee County and Charlotte County. Call this number. Army Corps of Engineers will be there. Help fix your roof.
Really important there, Dasha. Thank you. And Allie, I want to bring you in because, as I said earlier, President Biden is set to visit Fort Myers, one of the hardest hit cities, and then he will deliver his remarks. What are we expecting him to talk about?
Yeah, good morning, Clay. We expect President Biden to fly into Fort Myers later today, and he'll then receive this briefing from Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, as well as the FEMA administrator. The AP is also reporting that Florida Senator Rick Scott will also join state and local officials during this briefing. And President Biden has already committed to any federal relief that the state needs in its disaster recovery efforts. So what we really expect from him today is to take on this role that we so often see him take on during national tragedies, this role of consoler in chief. You heard Dasha lay out really how dire the situation is on the ground there. So that's something that President Biden is sure to address, try to offer as much comfort as possible to these people who are really rebuilding their lives, Zinclair.
Yeah, a lot of comfort needed. And unfortunately, for better or worse, there's also the optics of two possible presidential opponents, Biden and DeSantis, meeting together. We know that there's been tension between them, most recently about immigration. So in terms of Florida's recovery, how have the two been working together so far? What can we expect from their meeting?
Yeah, so this won't be the first time these two have met in person. They actually met for the first time last year during the Surfside condo collapse in South Florida. But this will be sort of a culmination of so many polarizing political events. These two have been on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum on. Most recently, of course, as you mentioned, that decision by Ron DeSantis to send that group of migrants to Martha's Vineyard. That's something that President Biden slammed as, quote, reckless. But White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre really told us yesterday that today is not the day for these two to hash out their differences, that they are solely focused on disaster recovery efforts. We know these two have spoken on the phone several times since this hurricane and have actually praised each other's work, both federally and on the state level. So I wouldn't expect any punches today. Definitely expect both of them to keep the focus solely on disaster recovery.
Yeah, focus on recovery. Dasha on the ground in Florida, Allie in Washington. Thank you both.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.